Vaz and a councillor. JTA's Action Committee announces pause of its pending industrial action. On the international scene, Houthis confirmed their prime minister killed in Israeli strike. In sport, Norris looking for some magic to beat Piastri in Dutch Grand Prix. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
With days to go before the country's highly anticipated general election on September 3, the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, has a 13-point lead over the opposition People's National Party, PNP. That's according to the findings of the nationwide commissioned Blue Dot polls. The findings were released on Friday on Nationwide at 5. Shanae Stevens-Taylor is Chief Insights Officer at Blue Dot.
We asked the question, if a general election were being held today, which political party's candidate would you vote for in your constituency? The JLP has opened up a 13-point lead over the PNP based on these polls, with 46% of the people that we interviewed indicating that they would vote for the JLP candidate in their respective constituencies. That is compared to 33% who indicated that they would put their X next to the head for the PNP candidate in their constituencies.
Mrs. Stevenson-Taylor said the uncommitted are breaking for the JLP.
Because the undecided bloc is at a 5-year low, 20%. Usually that number is in the 40%. We're usually looking at 2 in 5 people. I don't know who I would vote for. I'm completely undecided. No, that undecided bloc is down by half to 20%. People are making up their minds. And based on these results, more of the spoils have gone to the current administration than to the opposition who is vying to unseat them.
Janae Stevens-Taylor, Chief Insights Officer at Blue Dot. The nationwide Blue Dot polls were conducted between August 19 and 27. The margin of error is plus or minus 2.5%. Nationwide News understands that there is tension in the PNP's Central Westmoreland campaign camp between the party's candidate Dwayne Vaz and counsel for the Savanna division Julian Chang. We understand that there is deep distrust between Mr. Vaz and the PNP councillor. When our news centre contacted Ms. Chang earlier this afternoon, she confirmed that she was ousted from the constituency's executive committee.
I have been removed from the Central Executive constituency. Mr. Vaz has expressed that I am tight in his campaign, so he does keep going forward without me. That's all I know.
Ms. Chang was asked about how she feels about not being a part of Mr. Vaz's campaign team.
Well, it is his campaign, so whatever is he's comfortable with, then I'm fine.
Come next Wednesday, September 3, Mr. Vaz will be up against the JLP's George Wright in the general election. When asked how she believes the development will impact the outcome of the race in Central Westmoreland, Ms. Chang reserved judgment.
I have no comment.
Julian Chang, counsel for the Savanna division in Central Westmoreland. We were unsuccessful in our attempts to get a response from Mr. Dwayne Vaz as calls to both his cellular phones went unanswered. The matter of Mr. Mark Golding's financial affairs took center stage at Thursday night's leadership debate. Dr. Holness took Golding to task for what he alleges was a deliberate decision not to reveal his FinSAC wealth in his statutory declarations. He also queried whether the opposition leader possessed undisclosed assets in overseas companies. Mr. Golding denied the allegation.
I've disclosed all my assets, and that's why my Integrity Commission declarations are certified. Your allegations are scurrilous and false. You made reference to DBNG, although you didn't call the name. DBNG was established in 1992 when the financial sector meltdown occurred some years later, and FinSAC was established as a response to try and protect the savers of this country so they didn't lose their money. DBNG, like other financial firms at the time, had to navigate that carefully. We eventually were approached by a leading international bank. They looked at us inside out and upside down, found nothing, absolutely nothing untoward, and we have nothing to hide on when it comes to DBNG.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness also used the opportunity to criticize Mark Golding's claim that the PNP president does not own a house in Jamaica. Golding did not respond to the Prime Minister's claim. Instead, he accused Dr. Holness and his wife Juliet of being direct beneficiaries of FinSAC.
I would say, why is your government, having spent $200 million on this commission of inquiry into FinSAC, hiding the FinSAC report? Is it because you and your wife bought a house from somebody who had been FinSAC'd? You're a hypocrite, Andrew Holness, to be accusing me of anything in relation to FinSAC when you have been a direct beneficiary of the losses of somebody who was FinSAC'd, who lost their home because of FinSAC.
PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell has described as baseless and reckless comments from his JLP counterpart Dr. Horace Chang, suggesting that the bomb threats were sent by PNP elements. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
The security forces spent Friday morning responding to a series of bomb threats across at least 3 parishes and multiple buildings. The incidents appeared highly coordinated and targeted government buildings and commercial complexes. Shortly after, the JLP General Secretary, who is also the country's Deputy Prime Minister and Security Minister, placed the blame at the feet of those he described as PNP elements. The explosive allegation received a swift response from Dr. Campbell. He says the suggestion is desperate and false. Dr. Campbell says the rush by those in authority to spread unproven allegations is usually a sign of complicity. The PNP General Secretary says every accusation by the JLP is an admission. PNP campaign spokesperson Raymond Price echoed those sentiments at a PNP media briefing.
For Dr. Chang to make such a bizarre statement before the authorities are able to conclude any investigation speaks to a mind that may reflect the mischief they complain about. It is an utterly unprofessional, below par and reckless statement for him to have made.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Chairman of the Jamaica First Movement, the Reverend Al Miller, is calling on uncommitted voters to put 0 on the ballot on election day. The movement made the special announcement today at a press conference. According to the Jamaica First Movement, the voices and values of the country's uncommitted voters remain central to the future of democracy. Reverend Miller said the move to put 0 on the ballot would be a sign of protest by the uncommitted voters.
To the uncommitted, that if you do not see a good candidate with what you want and we're against it, then therefore make your voice heard nonetheless. And what you must do is go out and vote nonetheless, but you will make a statement in your vote that you are not satisfied with anything that you are seeing, so therefore you vote 0 in all of those blocks, because you're making it known that I don't approve any of these.
The Reverend Al Miller, chairman of the Jamaica First Movement. The Jamaica Teachers Association's Action Committee has announced a pause of its pending industrial action. The agreement follows a meeting held on Friday between the JTA and the Ministry of Finance on wage negotiations. It's understood the government has improved the 0% offer previously presented to the teachers. Mark Malava is president of the JTA.
The Jamaica Teachers Association today, Friday, August 29, 2025, convened a meeting of its Action Committee in keeping with the mandate given by the annual conference. At this meeting, it was confirmed that the government of Jamaica has submitted a new offer to the association. In light of this development, I have asked the Action Committee to place a pause on any industrial action it was contemplating at this time. This pause is intended to allow the offer to be tabled before the JTA's Salaries and Conditions of Service Committee, where it will be carefully examined and deliberated on. Following this process, a formal response will be submitted to the Ministry of Finance.
Mr. Malava says the pause in the JTA's industrial action does not indicate that the association is satisfied with the latest offer.
The JTA wishes to emphasize, however, that this pause does not signal satisfaction. Rather, it represents the organization's ongoing commitment to a process of principled and constructive engagement as we continue to advocate for fair and just treatment for Jamaica's teachers. We look forward to continuing the negotiations in good faith with the government, with one clear and unwavering objective: to secure a salary package that reflects the true worth of our teachers as nation builders.
Mark Malava, JTA President. 2024 was the warmest year on record for the region since measurements began in 1950. This is according to the 2024 State of Climate report published by the American Meteorological Society. The report, which is widely regarded as the world's annual climate health check, tracks global climate conditions each year. It warns of record-breaking ocean heat, the highest sea levels ever observed, and extreme weather events that caused major damage and loss of life. The Caribbean section was authored by 5 researchers from the University of the West Indies, UWI, in collaboration with the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. The data points to a year of excessive heat, pointing out that the region's average annual temperature is between 26.81 and 26.84 degrees Celsius. They note that this is above the 1991 to 2020 average. They highlight that 2024 was also the year marked by extreme weather. The researchers say it was the 8th wettest year since 1950, with average rainfall at 114% of normal levels. They note that severe droughts occurred between March and May in parts of the eastern Caribbean, while hurricanes and floods brought destruction later in the year. Among the most devastating was Hurricane Beryl in July, the earliest Category 5 Atlantic hurricane on record. Beryl impacted Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Jamaica, leaving over $1.4 billion in damage and multiple fatalities. On the international scene, Yemen's Houthi rebel movement has confirmed that its self-proclaimed Prime Minister Ahmed Ghaleb Nasser al-Rali was killed in an Israeli strike earlier this week. The Iran-backed group said several other senior officials were killed when the Israel Defense Forces targeted Yemen's capital, Sana'a, on Thursday. The IDF said Rahabi and other senior Houthi officials were eliminated when Israeli fighter jets struck a gathering in the Sana'a area. And now to sport. Lando Norris said he would be looking for some magic to try to beat McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri to victory in Sunday's Dutch Grand Prix. Piastri pipped Norris to pole position by just 0.012 seconds on Saturday, and the Australian heads Norris by 9 points in the championship, even though Britain has won 3 of the past 4 races. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. JLP has massive lead over PNP in voter support according to the latest findings from the Blue Dot polls. Tension in PNP camp in central Westmoreland as rift develops between the candidate Dwayne Vaz and a councillor. JTA's Action Committee announces pause of its pending industrial action. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 tomorrow afternoon. Good afternoon.
Building Finishes is celebrating 25 years of transforming Jamaican spaces. And we're saying thank you in a big way. Enjoy up to 25% off select items all year long, from bold tiles to breathtaking bathrooms and kitchens. Discover everything you need to create your dream space. Visit us at 5 Red Hills Road or online at creativebuildingfinishes.com. Creative Building Finishes.
Your beautiful finish begins here.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
All roads lead to Spanish Town this Sunday for the JLP Mass Rally at the Old Harbour Road round about 4 p.m. Main interest comes from Prime Minister and Party Leader, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Bells ringing, Jamaica Labour Party doing more for you. Bank to bank, Spanish Town strong.